Okay, in this video, let's see if we can generalize the average rate of change that we just looked at in part 1. And so in general, if we have a function and we want to find out what the average rate of change is between 2 points A and B, then the points on the graph would then be f of A, which is here, and f of B, which is here. So this is f of A, that's the height there, f of B up here. And so how will we actually find that average rate of change? Well, again, we're looking at a secant line that goes between those 2 points. That'll be our green line there. And we're actually trying to find what turns out to be the slope of that secant line. And let's see how that works out with what we learned in the last video. Well, we learned in the last video that in order to find the average rate of change, we would have here f of B minus f of A divided by B minus A, because it's this height minus that height. That gives me all of the y values between the x values A and B, right? And so we have f of B minus f of A. That's the sum of all the items in between A and B, those functional values. And then the number of items we have is whatever is in between B and A, so the stuff in between here. So this is how we calculate the average rate of change. If you remember, we had our example in the last problem was y was equal to x squared. We're trying to find out what was going on between x equals 0 and x equals 2. And what we ended up doing was f of 2 minus f of 0 over 2 minus 0. And we found that to be equal to 2, I believe it was. Alright, so why do we say it's the average rate of change is equal to the slope of the tangent line, or the secant line, I'm sorry. Well, let's look at the graph again. In general, if I just blow that piece up, here was A, here was B. Our points are here. Get the color up here. Right here and right here. So that was f of A. This was f of B. So what are the coordinates for the 2 points? Well, we have one point that's on the graph. I'll call that P1. This one is P2. So what is P1? P1 is coordinates B and f of B. And P2 has coordinates A, comma, f of A. So if you have 2 points, how do you find the slope of the line between the 2 points? Well, that would be f of B minus f of A over B minus A. And that turns out to be the slope of a line. Which line is it? Well, it's the slope of the line passing between those 2 points. Of course, that green line hits our graph of f of x at 2 points, so that's why it's called a secant line. And that is why the average rate of change is just the slope of the secant line.